Hey, for this week's discussion, the movie trailer that I chose to watch was How to Train Your Dragon. It came out in 2010, and it is a film about a young Viking named Hiccup, and he lives in a village who is constantly in competition with dragons for resources. Um, in an effort to prove himself, he eventually shoots down and injures a dragon, but through a process of bonding and learning, he ends up being able to train and ride it, and it changes his perception of dragons, and he goes on to try and convince the rest of his village that they don't need to fight dragons and that they can actually coexist and work together. The trailer that I watched was 2 minutes and 25 minutes, or 25 seconds long. I mostly counted instances of violence for this one, and I broke it down into two categories, which was weapon violence and physical violence. The weapon violence was mostly in the form of like axes and stuff like that. For the physical violence, I kind of included instances of like thematic intensity, so a lot of explosions and stuff like that, or like scenes where a dragon would bare its teeth at characters, and it was just overall just kind of scary to look at. Um, and so doing that, I counted 17 total instances of violence. Five of those were weapon violence, and then 12 of those were the combination of physical and thematically intense violence. I didn't really check for stereotypes of gender because I feel like the film is actually pretty. It subverts a lot of expectations about gender. So, for example, the main character of Hiccup, he is very submissive and sensitive. He is pretty emotionally intelligent, which you don't see a lot in media. And his female counterpart is actually very strong. She's good at fighting, and she's very stoic. And so I feel like in terms of stereotypes, they break a little. They break from societal norms a little. And so, in terms of the violence, I think because it is an animated movie, a lot of the violence that is portrayed does not depict the full extent of the damage that would be done to the characters. And so, uh, I pulled a quote from the Brad Bushman lecture where he talked about how violent media can make people numb to the pain and suffering of others. So, my recommendation to parents whose children want to see this movie is that at the end of the film, they make sure that their children understand that the violence that's depicted is not realistic. It can't be, it's not based in reality, and that the film does not fully depict the physical pain and even emotional turmoil that these characters would go through due to the violence that's inflicted throughout the film. But yeah, that's it. Thanks.